Women have always played a vital role in American history. Addressing the Daughters of the American Revolution, April 19, 1926, President Calvin Coolidge stated, "The importance of women in the working out of the destiny of mankind. As there were fathers in our republic, so there were mothers. By their abiding faith, they inspired and encouraged the men. By their sacrifice, they performed their part in the struggle out of which came our country." Women followed the American Army to Valley Forge and during the freezing winter of 1777. Now, these women were referred to as camp followers, but that title really does not do them justice. These were the women that actually were the entire logistics for the American Army. They were organized by Martha Washington, Lucy Knox, the wife of Colonel Henry Knox, and Katie Greene, wife of General Nathaniel Greene. They scavenged for supplies, cooked food, washed clothes, formed sewing circles to mend ragged uniforms and blankets, and cared for the sick and dying soldiers. One of the ladies, Mrs. Westlake, described Martha Washington. "I never in my life knew a woman so busy from early morning until late at night as was Lady Washington, providing comforts for the sick soldiers." Women, in addition to being camp followers, would carry pitchers of water. These camp following women would go from trench to trench, carrying pitchers of water to the parched soldiers. Women also carried a continuous supply of water to those loading the cannons. You see, water was needed to cool and clean the hot barrels between shots to keep it from overheating and becoming useless. At the Battle of Monmouth, June 28, 1778, Molly Pitcher was bringing water trench to trench while her husband manned one of the cannons. When her husband collapsed from heat stroke, she put down her pitcher of water and began swabbing the cannon and loading the cannon for the rest of the battle. At one point, a British cannonball flew between her legs, tearing off part of her skirt. Molly straightened up and uttered, "Well, that could have been worse," and resumed loading the cannon. General George Washington commended her and issued her a warrant as a non-commissioned officer. She was known as Sergeant Molly. In September of 1775, 22-year-old Deborah Champion risked her life to deliver an urgent message from her father, Henry Champion, the Continental Army's Commissary General, to General George Washington. She disguised herself as an old woman, hiding the important papers under the bodice of her dress, and then rode past several British checkpoints between New London, Connecticut, and Boston. Another story is Anna Smith Strong. She was an integral part of the Culper spy ring. They gathered information to give to General Washington between the years of 1778 and 1781. Robert Townsend pretended to be a loyalist, and he would hear of the British troop movements around New York. He would tell tavern owner Austin Rowe, and then Austin Rowe would get the information to Abraham Woodhull. Woodhull gave the information to Anna Smith Strong. When she would hang her laundry outside on the clothesline to dry, she would hang them in a pre-arranged configuration to send a message of the British troop movements. Caleb Brewster was waiting in a cove, and he would look at the clothesline and then ride his rowboat across Long Island Sound to give the information to Major Ben Talmadge and General George Washington. On January 2nd, 1952, the U.S. Postal Service issued a 3-cent stamp in Philadelphia to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of Betsy Ross. She was born a day earlier, January 1st, 1752, to a Quaker family in Philadelphia. Quakers were also the first and strongest opponents of slavery in America. She apprenticed as a seamstress and fell in love with an upholsterer, John Ross, the son of an Episcopal rector at Christ Church and nephew of Declaration signer George Ross. They approached Betsy Ross and asked her to sew an American flag. Thank you so much for watching Faith in History on the TCT Network. God bless you.